Yeah, let me get some water.
Yeah. Who are the Packers playing this week? They had a bye week.
Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So we got Brady. I'm excited for it.
Okay.
Well, I get a break because I been my big I've kind of taken a step back from cards, and I won this Floyd Mayweather boxing glove signed, so I
Okay.
flipped it,
Okay.
and I've been picking up my kind of thing till I've had to decided to stream on Twitch because that cost exponential. Thank you so much, but I've been collecting jerseys. So I have a Mark Chimera jersey I got for $5, and nobody remembers Mark Chimera except for Packer fans and what he's infamous for it's the hot tub scandal.
Okay. I'm not familiar, but
So he was a tight end with the Packers during the Super Bowl run with Brett Favre and everything through those years. And then he retired in '99 due to neck issues. And in 2000, he was at a party or something or some kind of gathering, and he got in a hot tub. And it was reported that he was in a hot tub with this girl that was 17 at the time. It ended up she was older, but he had to go through all these allegations. He had to go through court for it. And he ended up, she was 19. And so everything was fine, but he had to go through all that stuff.
that's kind of the stigma. Yeah.
Yeah, that's stigma. So I bought the jersey because I thought it was kind of funny. And my dad has, in his man cave at his house, he has these, I don't know how he got them, but they're the original photos and they're action photos of Mark Chimera chewing gum on the sidelines and spitting it. So he has it framed one by one by one, and then under it he has a signed jersey. So I was like, oh, I gotta get one. And then I found a Brett Favre authentic for $15, and it has an old school patch on it. I was like, that's sick. And I think that's it for
insanely cheap.
I don't know how I've been getting so lucky, and nothing's been turned out fake. So the most expensive jersey I bought on eBay last year was $68, and it was a fake Randall Cobb. I mean, I'll still wear it because I don't care that much about it. Yeah, I mean, I can tell it's fake. I don't think too many people that, if they don't know what they're looking for, can't tell it's fake. And I mean, everything else has been good. How you been? We haven't talked in what?
Good. I have a funny. I only got one fake from eBay, and it was when I was a freshman in college for Valentine's Day. My girlfriend really wanted this Tiffany necklace, and it wasn't that expensive. It was $150 from Tiffany's, but I went on eBay and I found one for $120, and I got it from eBay, and it turned out to be a fake. And
Did it turn her neck green?
Yeah, it was not great, but it was funny, something that we laughed about. But yeah, for saving just a couple bucks.
Yeah, no, it's just the goofy things. I've never had issues with fake cards because I buy the Mariners. I think the most I've ever spent on a card was $20.
No.
It's my Jay Buhner auto. That's I think that's the most, and then yeah, I don't think my car. I have a lot, but I keep it pretty cheap. Except right now, we're going to talk about it. The car community is blowing up. The prices are stupid. But all right, I feel more calmed down. Let's get this going.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Welcome everybody to Just Mitchin. I'm the one, the only Mitchy, and I'm here with the man himself, Mr. Successful. I like to call him when I'm talking to my friends, Mr. Blake Jamieson.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, I'm good. No, I was talking to one of my good friends about you, just how you really helped us with how I sit differently. You told me to get a better mic. I got a better webcam.
I was going to comment on it, man. Your setup looks pro. You're fucking lit right now. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah. And I mean, I was going to go with one of the Yetis, but I got this set up and everything for I think it was $80. And I got lucky because the Arcos out here had a class action lawsuit 5 years ago.
Okay.
So I get $120 every year. So that's what I did with my class action chick.
Well, I got to tell you, man, it looks pro. I love everything about it. You got all the stuff to look at. It looks great.
Thanks, man. The next thing is a chair, and that's hopefully I can make that work with that partnership we got going.
Yeah, esportsfurniture.com.
Yeah, esportsfurniturestore.com.
Esportsfurniturestore.com.
It messes me up every time. Use code JustMitchin, 10% off. Dude.
I love that.
So you got a car dropping today, right?
I do, yeah. My Jeter just came out a couple hours ago. I saw
it. It looks really cool. The one thing I'm talking about the Project 2020 is I bought your Ichiro card, and then I had a friend of mine who's been collecting them all hit me up on Twitter and goes, I didn't buy the Ichiro card. Can I have yours? And I was like, I don't want to get rid of it, but since you have I
have extras of everything after Don Mattingly.
He has all of Blake, so I sold it to him.
Yeah. Well, I can help you or any of your friends get caught up on anything outside of Don Mattingly. I've got them in abundance. I'm planning on just sitting on them for like years, because I believe that these have like some serious future with when I continue to, put in work in the card community and within the sports art world. And so, your fans are my fans. Everybody, we're all friends, man. If somebody's short and needs an Ichiro, I got you. I'll sell it just straight retail. It's no problem.
Yep. Nope. I sold it to him straight retail for the same thing. Because my thing that I've came to conclusion, and I have this, and people give me crap for always selling Manor cards. That's all I have. If it doesn't have an auto on it, like it's really hard for me to keep it. Mm-hmm. Like, because to me, it's never been touched. It's just mass produced. Mm-hmm. Like for me, like the auto, at least like, I mean, you know how it's, you go through 1,000 of them, but you still touched it. You still touched the pin. Like, even if it was a millisecond, like you still had something to do with that.
Of course.
And that's like what I have issues with the Project 2020, in my personal opinion. But I still enjoy them. I retweet them out. I tell everybody to buy them. But and $20 for a card for somebody who's broke, that's always is a little bit harder.
I mean, not just people that are broke, man. That's an expensive baseball card.
Yeah.
I won't sugarcoat that. I get that. And the fact that like people are spending discretionary income during a time when it's, it's a lot of people are underemployed or unemployed. And I appreciate that very much. I try not to take that for granted.
No, and you do a great job. That's why I love talking to you. And I was just going to tell everybody with Blake and how big Blake's platform is. Blake doesn't, when he really says you're his friend, you're Blake's friend. I mean, I can post just a goofy message on Twitter, Blake will like it. And it blows my mind every time when you get a blue check mark liking your thing, even on my personal page, not just the Just Mitchin page. And this goes into my first question. I got the clearance with Tony. You good to talk about mental health?
Whatever you want, bro.
All right. Absolutely. Well, my first one is, we're average looking guys. How did you pull off your beautiful girlfriend? Is it the confidence or is it that smile?
I'm just lucky, man.
Just lucky.
In all walks of life.
See that?
Yeah.
Hey man, that's good. You're living the life, man.
Yes.
And I love watching you live your life and watching you on stream and everything. But has it always been so successful? Has life always been so easy for you? Because it seems like right now it is. That's all I've ever seen. So
yeah, and I apologize for that, because it's not easy. It hasn't always been easy, and it's still like not easy. It's really easy to share like the butterflies and rainbows on social media. And I know that that's what we get across the board, right? Like we want to see people doing well for the most part. And we want to portray that we're doing well. Right. And we don't want to necessarily post about the tough times or the tough feelings or decisions that we have to make in our own lives. And I think everybody's had a lot of them. And if anybody says that they hasn't, that I just don't believe them. I am in a very fortunate spot now where like my business has been going really well this year. And, I've talked about it in the past on some of my own streams and other people's podcasts, is like, there is like a little bit of guilt for that, because I know that 2020 has been a really tough year on a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. And for me, it's been the best year that I've ever had in my art business. And, when things are going well professionally, it's a lot easier to overlook challenges in other parts of your life. It doesn't mean they aren't there. It just means that like, it's just easier to say, okay, well, at least this is going good. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's been a great year, and I can't deny that. And I'm proud of it. I'm happy, proud of the team and the people that I'm working with, and grateful for all of that. Supportive family, Tops really like coming through and like, coming through in a major way for an artist during 2020 and COVID and everything that we're going through. And so, yeah, I mean, it's great looking and it's for the most part, like great feeling. I don't want to like say that I don't feel like good every day. I'm very happy with where I'm at, but also like there are also challenges that I go through just like everyone else. And like, there's also been like darker years where like, I mean, without Project 2020, and I told my landlord this for my art studio at the beginning of this whole project, like beginning of this year, is I didn't think I would be able to stay in my art studio. It's, I'm in New York. It's a very expensive city. I had a moderately expensive apartment, and I don't ever like to like, I don't ever like to give up on anything. Right. I always like bet on myself. I always believe in myself, but I was at a point where I'm like, I told my landlord, I said, hey, I don't know, like through this uncertainty, right, that's coming up, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay here. And so he was super understanding and gave me a price break on rent. And this was, again, kind of right at the beginning of Project 2020, where I didn't really understand kind of the potential for it, and was grateful at the time of like, okay, well, at least I have something where like, I know that I can keep painting, and hopefully I can pay my rent for my apartment, but whether or not I'm going to be able to do that for my studio, I just don't know. And try to like be really honest with them about that. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess what I have to say to that is like, sure, it's great and it's awesome, but it's not as awesome as everyone thinks always. And like, there were a lot of times in the last 5 years that I've been a full-time artist where it's been like, I'm walking a tightrope, man. And I don't have, I don't have a nest egg. Like I can't just, I got to make moves. I got to like, my business has to succeed. Otherwise I have to do something else.
It's that hustle. And like what you said touched me, and it touched me when we first talked, was kind of, I'm going to steal Dugout Mugs' one of their quotes, a swing for the fences, like betting on yourself. And that's what we've done. We took that motto from you and just all in, man. And I think that's the only way you can really, if you're going to do something, artist or content creator or anything where you don't have that safety net of a job, of like a real job, like if you're working for Fortune 500 company or whatever you're doing, where that paycheck, you still show up to work and you get that paycheck. Like, I think that's the best way to do it, is you got to put as much content that you can out there and hope people relate to it. And then you're going to fail. We've had our share of setbacks where you think something is going to blow up and it doesn't blow up, or where you think something's going to work out and it doesn't, or you accidentally schedule your Zoom time at the wrong time. Like those kind of things, just they happen, and you can't get upset with yourself about them.
Sure.
You just have to keep moving.
You got to be, honestly, man. And this is a great football analogy. It's like, you got to be like a quarterback. You got to have like a 5-second memory.
Just forget it.
Like you throw a terrible pass, you throw an intercept with pick six in clutch time. Like, you got to forget about that, because the game is still happening, and that's life.
Yeah, no, exactly. Life is always moving. And Rocky Balboa said, it's one of my favorite quotes, nobody hits harder than life. You just got to stand up and keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. And that's how I've taken it, because I've gone my own battle with mental health and mental illness. I've had days. Today was one of them. I didn't really want to get out of bed today because it's finally cold enough in Oregon where I can have my weighted blanket on. And that's like the most comfortable thing. And I was like, oh, I got to get up and stream. And then
weighted blanket.
See, if we can get into that. My brain was telling me, yo, just stay in bed. No one's going to watch your stream. You might get 2 people. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, if I don't do it, nobody's going to watch that stream.
That's absolutely true.
Like, if you don't, like, our viewers, we get 10 people.
Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the
shots you don't take. I mean, we've got 10 loyal followers that watch every video. And I mean, do I want the 1,000 people? Yes, but I'd rather take 10 than 0. I'd rather take 10 people who are always going to message, comment, and tell us, keep doing this because it's going to happen. I messaged my friend John all the time ago, I don't know if this is worth it. Mm-hmm. And Ken, Carl, and I talked about that too. Like, yeah, you get that, like, especially in the world we're in, like, because there's so much uncertainty. And how do you deal with that uncertainty where you don't know where the next step's going to be?
Yeah. Dude, it's the Rocky Balboa thing, man. You just get up and keep going. Like, I think you got to kind of like at some point, and this applies, I think, extra to like, creatives and creators like you and myself, but to anyone, like, you got to put the blinders on at some point and just do whatever you think is right. And don't worry about how many people watch or how many people like or comment or share or anything. Like, those are all vanity metrics anyways, man. It doesn't matter. You could have 10 viewers and be making 6-7 figures a year doing whatever you do, or you could have 1,000 or 100,000 viewers and make next to nothing. And it doesn't always correlate, right, to like audience. I think I'm definitely like in the camp of like quality over quantity when it comes to audience. And so, if I look at, like, my platform is pretty big. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of amazing friends that have supported my journey. But if you want to break it down to like financially who've supported my journey, if we want to apply that and say, okay, that's success, right? If I'm making money doing the thing that I love.
Dick eaters. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, dude. No apology necessary.
I've never done that on a recorder.
It's all good, bro.
Oh, dude, laugh all you want, man.
I love it, man. Embrace that, and honestly, like, that's what people connect with, man. I think that that's something that you got going for you, is that like you're like uniquely you. And I think that those 10 people, now it's 10, tomorrow it could be 20, or tomorrow it could be 5. It doesn't fucking matter, because like they just appreciate that realness. But like, going back to what I was saying, like the actual, like, if we're just measuring it as from a financial standpoint, the people that have supported me are like a tiny fraction of like 1% of the audience, right? And then there's all this other audience that's there that are just there to be part of it, just by watching it. And so also going back to like viewership, like, sure, like live viewership is one thing, but also like you could have some breakout thing happen. And I'm saying you hypothetically, as in you or anyone else, right? Any other artist or any other creator, that all of a sudden they do something that puts them on the map in a different, like, bigger way, that like then they have all those people coming back and watching all that old content. And like creating content for 10 people is magic, bro, because like you have so much less, honestly, dude, you have less voices that can distract from like whatever you want to do, right? And your message and you being you. And so I think it's a great spot to be in.
I love it. Like, I mean, I want more like of it, because I think you always want more, but we don't get our 10 people are all good. Like, I probably can name 5 of them, but it's always 10, 14 viewers. So I know that there's other people.
Learn those other 6 or 7 names.
Well, it doesn't show me.
Whatever, right?
What'd you say?
I said try to learn those names, like befriend those people, man.
Well, is there a way when on your YouTube to see like who's viewing your stuff? See, that's my issue.
I would say I don't think there are, but if you're consistently getting those kind of numbers, I would advocate more to say, hey, drop a comment and introduce yourself. I want to know your name.
All right.
Or like email me, right? Mitch@justmitchin.com or whatever the email address is. Say you don't have to say it publicly, right? Because some people are private people, and I get, but like you want to connect with them and like encourage them to say, okay, this is my email address, or this is my Twitter. DM me, and I want to know your name, and I want to know your mailing address, because I want to send you a rack.
Yeah, right? No, exactly.
They're going to do it. They will do it. Like people like that, and then you can. It's a good move, man.
Dude, no, that's a great idea. Well, going into rack, I'm gonna throw something that I don't know if you've seen it, but where did I put? I'm all over the place today. Oh, so we're going into Hobby Hero. I don't know if you've seen our Hobby Hero. So what we're doing is once a week, we're picking somebody in the hobby that everybody nominates, and sometimes we get a lot, sometimes we don't get too many. Mm-hmm. And this Friday we'll be picking week 3's Hobby Hero. Week 1's was Rudy Glove 27, Rudy G. If you don't know him, he's the like and retweet king. And then we went with the Bearded Baptist for week 2, just a good all around guy. Sends racks, helps people out. And so we're going to be picking week 3 on Friday. And it puts you into a drawing to win yourself a dugout mug.
Sick.
So, yeah, we're going to pick 12 winners and then throw them into one. And then throw it into one. And it's just a way. There's so many people in this hobby. And I think there's like 1% of people that get this huge recognition to get all of it. And there's nothing wrong. They'll be thrown into it too. God will eventually pick them. But there's also this huge group of people that do so much good things and never get any love. And that's where we came up with Hobby Hero, that we want everybody, because I do a rack thread every Monday, and it always seems like it's the same people giving. Mm-hmm. Always the same people. I got you. And they never comment their team, and they're like, I got you. And I'm like, yeah. So we're like, well, we'll get back, because so many people have given us opportunities, and we're like, we got to get back to you.
Okay.
And
So how do I nominate someone?
you can nominate someone on the video, or you can go into the thread. It's on my pinned tweet.
Okay.
But you can do it on the video too, because this will
what
be
I'm trying to get
released.
at is I want to let people know, like, I want to encourage people, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do we do this? So that we're going to go to your Twitter.
Yeah, my Twitter.
Just Mitchin.
I just mentioned, so the show's Twitter, and it's right up there. Pin tweet, Hobby Hero Week 3. Nominate someone who you think deserves to be this week's Hobby Hero. Please tell us why. So that was the one big thing we had an issue, is that people were just tagging people. Well, right. I need to know why this person deserves it. And it doesn't have to be because they have this long history. They could have just done something amazing this week, because it's a weekly thing. So that's why I said, just naming someone doesn't count. Remember to put them, and then remember this puts them in a drawing for a dugout mug. And then I always put the last week's Hobby Hero, which was the Bearded Baptist.
Okay. So every week that pin tweet refreshes.
Yep, refreshes into a new one every Sunday.
Okay, great.
Yep.
At Just Mitchin, pin tweet.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited for it. I love that.
That's great.
Because going back to our previous with like just the 10 people that watch, I'm kind of over like trying to like go viral or like have as many people. My new goal, and Abe and I talked about it, is just building relationships. Because the Just Mitchin channel could never go big, but Mitch could find a way into another company.
Hold on, I'm going to stop you right there.
All right.
Don't say it could never go big.
But no, I didn't say that. I was saying like tense, like it might not.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
I'm happier with that. Yeah. It might not go big, and that's okay, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
But, you can go big to the handful of people that appreciate it, right? That's
exactly
still going big.
No, and then like the other thing is
big, man.
And you never know who's watching, so that you can always open up another door. And that's the thing with relationships that I love. And I love just getting to meet unique individuals like yourself. I never thought in a million years I'd be sitting here on a Wednesday, well, it's early afternoon in Oregon, and talking to Blake Jamieson, a guy who I thoroughly look up to.
Appreciate that, man.
So
I expected this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, man. I
appreciate
that.
I love it. And I'm glad to be back too. Like, that's like the best thing, is like things that are not just fly by nights, be like, oh yeah, that's the dude that I talked to one time, and then who knows? Like, I love that we talked and we've continued to engage online, and here we are, further down the pipeline of the Project 2020 and beyond Project 2020. I hope that we continue to talk.
Oh, we will. I have
like whatever, right?
One of my goals is, and so I have like a long sheet of goals. I think everybody should write that down.
I agree.
And one of them is I want a portrait done by you of myself.
Okay.
And I want to put them on. I want to put them on T-shirts. My birthday is May 26th.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I want to put them on T-shirts, and we'll split proceeds, because May is Mental Health Month awareness, so it's a perfect time to do it. No, you donated to my last birthday too, man. Because that's how we got in touch, was the Jordan portrait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. But going to this, I know you're writing down my birthday and reminding yourself. I don't know how you remember everything.
That's how.
Yeah, writing it down. So when something doesn't go your way, or you get told no, or somebody even says your art sucks, because you're in this bigger platform where you're actually dealing with haters. And I see some of the comments and I want to punch them in the face. I'm like, you don't know Blake like I know Blake. How do you deal with that? Like, because you see, you're so genuine, and knowing you, I feel like you do take it in and then process it. But how do you actually, with your own words, without me talking for you?
Yeah, no, I do, man. Art's a tough industry in that, like, as an artist, as soon as you have a voice, you're immediately met with criticism. And like, there's an entire business, right? There are people that are art critics that is literally their job, right? I mean, imagine like if there were people that were like podcast critics, and I guess there probably are, just don't put it on their business card, right? But like, that's like a job of like art critic. And so as an artist, I've tried to accept that from the beginning, to say, okay, there's always going to be people that hate. And I also have within the art world a very unique kind of path that has led me to become an artist, which wasn't going to art school. It wasn't doing the formal training and the things that art critics would say you're supposed to do. And so like from the jump, I already knew that I'm coming in from a position of like, okay, yeah, there's going to be some haters, and that's okay. I think also within the art world, it's like, and within a lot of things, is kind of about like being part of the conversation. And it's kind of like any press is good press, but also like there are some things you could do that would be bad press, that would be bad. And, I don't condone those things, but like, I kind of came in thinking, okay, well, there's going to be critics because I don't have the formal training that everyone else, that people think I should have, but I still want to like make a splash in the art world. And beyond that, like if it's all about kind of being in the conversation, if everybody just likes something, or if everybody thinks art is like pretty good, then no one's going to talk about it at all. It's literally just gonna be like, okay, that's cool. And they're going to forget about it. And so I didn't ever want to be that. And so like I kind of came in with the anticipation and expectation to be like, okay, I want to like, fuck up the art world a little bit, and that's going to mean pissing some people off, and that's okay. And so like accepting the fact that like there's going to be people that don't like me or my art for whatever reason was something that I tried to like over and over again remind myself coming into this. Say, okay, this is the industry, and like if nobody's talking about my art and saying bad things, that probably just means I'm not like pushing boundaries enough and I'm being too boring.
No, which I love that you fucked up the art world, like in a good way. Like
Yeah.
I was never into art before this. Like I'm a sports guy. Like I like watching the game, like collecting the cards. Like I never thought sports and art. I was one of those people that art to me is that photograph of farm walking out of the tunnel, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is art. I mean, that's 100% art.
It is art, but I never thought Greg Kreindler was like what should be like in sport.
Beast, man.
So I have the whole collection of his 150 set that he did with
no, but I want to see it.
So when he for Tops last year, so he did all those and he sent it to me all signed.
Dude, he's so awesome.
Dude, he's our longest episode we've ever had. It was 3 hours.
Wow.
And we could have gone more because he's awesome. One of the things, so I have you, and Tony didn't give me an answer, so I have you face to face. Greg wants to do an episode with you where we just all sit down, the three of us. All right, perfect. I'll set it up. I'll get it done immediately. And then another thing while I have you, since I'm just going, with Dugout Mugs, they said they talked to you previously about sending you a mug. Mm-hmm. I think you guys need to come together for a collab. Like do like 20 mugs. Yep. They send you, and they have to be okay with you doing whatever you do with them, because I talked to Greg, and I was like, you should do a collab with Blake. And he's like, I don't know if I could let Blake do whatever I wanted him to do with my art.
Right. No, I think if Greg and I did a collab, I would have to do it the first part.
See, he thought that's what he thought. He thought he'd have to do the first part and you do the second part.
Well, I'm open to either way. I'm flexible, but I think if I did something, I could send it to Greg and be like, because I trust Greg implicitly. Like he could do what he wants, and just the same way that he feels like I don't know if I could let Blake do that. I would feel weird if I took one of his masterpieces and was like, I'm about to splatter paint on this. I don't know, man. I don't know. To the same thing of like these actually. Okay, these are you like this is Ken Griffey Jr. signed ball.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
And Ichiro signed ball. Ichiro does not sign a lot of things, so like these are rare.
No, that's why his
giveaways that I did, and with the giveaway, I said, okay, when you win this, I will send this to you as is, or I will mask off the signature and then I'll splatter paint on them. And both of the winners of these said, yeah, I want you to splatter paint on them.
100%.
No, I mean it's great, but it's like shit. Like these are legends, man. I'm an infant in the game, and so I'm excited but like nervous, right, to do my stuff on that. I feel the same way about Greg's work. I would love to do a collab with him. I don't know if I could take a painting of his and paint on it with the same reckless abandon that I can do on a base card when I'm painting a piece of card art,
Or on like a dugout mug.
Or on a dugout mug. Also, on the dugout mug thing, I had been talking to them. I think or thought they were going to send me a mug or two, which I was hoping they would do. And I was planning on like doing a little flair on it and then showing them and be like, here's what's possible. But I haven't gotten the mug yet. So dugout mugs, holler at me. You got my address. Let's make it happen. You got my high-res logo. We got everything we need, I think, from my end. But
yeah, they are so busy right now. That company.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
I love it. And talking to their owner was cool. Like I'm happy that I've joined the Dugout Mug family, as well as I feel like I'm part of the Blake Jamieson family. Like we're all, and it's like, all in there.
And I use mugs, right? Just like regular mugs right now, which are not dugout mugs. So
no, and they just came out with. I mean, I'm giving them free. Well, they hooked me up, so they cut these shorter into. They're calling the shortstop mug. So Sick. It's like almost like a rocks glass.
I love that.
Which I think
I would love a good dugout mug rocks glass like right now.
Right, I will literally tell Todd.
No.
I got you. Gosh, my brain's all over the place today.
Okay. Best way to be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, today's been, like I said, not everybody on. We've talked about it off camera. It's been one of those days where life's like this, man. And that's how I feel like stepping into this world. I mean, you say you're an infant in like the art world or like the content world. Like I don't know what I am, an embryo? Like, I'm 4 months into it. And I feel like we've stepped, I don't want to say like taking too big of a step, but some of the people we've already reached out to, like I got to talk to Carter Capps, who's a Mariner, like, and I watched him play. And like that was really awesome. Like we've talked to Mike Fear and like and we talked to Blake Jamieson, and Greg Kreindler. And I can just keep going on and on. And the people, I would never think in a million years that I would do this. And I love that the first time I talked to you, like I'm such a fearful person and I'm so afraid of success. And like we talked about 20 minutes ago, you just can't be. You just got to go for it. Mm-hmm. And it's that like self-reminder every day, like you're good enough. Mm-hmm. And do you ever have thoughts that you aren't good enough, that Blake Jamieson isn't a great artist, that his work always isn't perfect, which I think it is. Like, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just putting in that
every day
thing. Really?
Every day, man.
Dude, I think you're Superman, man.
That's okay. I mean, I appreciate that, but every day.
Oh, it's so fun. Every artist we talk to, like I do name drop Blake Jamieson, but like everybody goes, "Oh, I love Blake," blah blah. And I'm like, dude, he's the man to me. Like, I'm like, when I think like if I'm having a hard day, I'm like, wow, how would Blake handle this? And the best thing is I can always message Tony or I can message you, and I get it. It might take you a minute because you're busy, but usually I get it within a day, and I'm like, all right, this is better. This is how you go about. Especially, thank you for letting me use your publicist every once in a while.
Anytime, man. Mine is yours.
Dude, Tony's a great dude. I'm definitely very appreciative of how much he's helped us here. And I mean, our background is literally how I sit, where I sit, the microphone, the better camera. This is all Blake Jamieson. It's funny how far your reach goes.
I love it, man. I think, and it's silly that it even matters, but it does matter. And, it's a competitive world. There's a lot of content creators. And with a few minor tweaks like that, puts you on a whole different production plane that can expose you to some new heights,
No, exactly. That's the one thing that when I stream, I have to sit in the original place because the TV's right here, and the resolution of the laptops, it lags a little bit. And I've tried to play on it, and if you think I'm competitive when it comes to this, like when I'm playing any kind of sport, like I'm ultra competitive.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to lose, and I don't believe in quitting. So like my first game today I was playing NBA 2K, and this kid didn't know what he was doing. I think we had like 10 points by the second half. I'm sitting there and I'm already irritated with the world. And I'm like, don't blow your gasket. And I'm like, don't like say something in the thing. Cause normally when I'm off my computer, it's private. So they can't hear what I'm saying unless it's on chat. Well, when you're streaming off the PlayStation, they hear everything you're saying. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, and I'm like reminding myself, be positive, be positive, be positive. Yeah. And going into like mental health, positivity, really, you got to push it forward. Even in like success, like I think that's one of the things that helps you so much is like nobody I've talked to that knows you or has an interaction with Blake Jamieson has ever said Blake is a shitty person. Like, even people that I question, like, their motives, that, like, you've helped them out. And I'm like, that's just the guy Blake is, and that's the guy I want to aspire to be. And I'm telling you, when everything is working out, going the way I want it to, I'm saying this, but like also with like my disorder and like flying terrifies me now. I want to go to Florida because I want to. Daytona and Tortugas have helped us out, so I want to go to one of their games. Then the Dugout Mugs family's down in Florida. I'd love to meet those guys. And then I want to come up to the East Coast. I've never been to New York City, so next summer I want to go to New York City and hang out with the Blake Jamieson crew.
You're welcome anytime, man.
I knew you were gonna say that, but yeah, I've never been to Yankee Stadium, so that's something I've definitely wanted to do. And I think we get a GoPro, and we probably have a great YouTube episode on going to Yankee Stadium and watching a game. Because what part of New York do you live in?
So I live in Manhattan.
Okay.
But my art studio where I am now and almost always am is in Long Island City, which is in Queens.
Okay.
And so we are just across the water. Like, I live in a 2-story building. My studio is in a 2-story building, and on the roof we can look across the water. We have this gorgeous view of Manhattan, and I plan to watch the sunset up there tonight. It's surreal, man. New York's just somewhere that I'd always wanted to live, and I just feel like it's such a crazy time to be living in New York, with everything that's going on in the world. But like, just taking a moment and like going up on the roof and like watching the sunset and the cityscape, it's trippy. And so I think, like, honestly, if you come next summer, I don't know that I'll necessarily still live in Manhattan. I have a lease there that's ending in December. And so I'm looking at probably getting slightly outside of the city, probably. I don't know. It's
getting out of the apartment and getting a house, maybe? Or
no, it'll probably still be an apartment if I'm being real. I would love to have a house and a yard and a lot of the things that are very difficult to get in New York. But I don't know. I'm still kind of I'm figuring it out. I was looking at potentially, my family's back on the West Coast in California, and I miss them very much. And so was exploring options to, maybe get back to California or potentially Las Vegas, which is a lot closer to California than New York is.
It's not a far drive. It's 8 hours.
Yeah, it's not bad. You let me know. But if I'm in New York and you're in New York, you're welcome anytime. And I'd love to show you.
If you're in Las Vegas, that's even closer to me.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been looking.
Yeah, Portland's a great city, very artsy.
I love Portland, actually. I was there for a wedding. I guess that was like end of last year. So like kind of just before the pandemic was a problem, and it's gorgeous, man.
I like it. Because I can't live on my own. My stepdad and mom are talking about moving to the South. So I might end up in the South, which would sound terrible for a person like me, because I like to be cold all the time. I don't like the heat. My body does not deal with the heat well. So I'm like, oh man, the South, that's where my mom loves the heat. But out here, you just got to get used to the rain. You can get used to like the raininess. It's fine. It's beautiful. I mean, Portland, what?
It's so green there, man.
It's so green. I mean, if I took this outside, I literally have a door right there. And I mean, it's muggy. It's not muggy. It's foggy today. Like, it's rainy. And it's still green. There's trees everywhere. I love sitting in our backyard.
Packers colors all the time.
Yeah, always Packers colors.
It's either green or yellow.
Exactly. Once you get used to the rain, though, it's beautiful. I mean, Portland's a great city. Before everything that's going on, and I think after everything settles down, whenever that is, I think Portland will become a great city once again. But like, downtown's boarded up right now, and it really hurts my heart. And like, and my opinions are not very popular in Portland, let's just say. I'm ex-military. I was raised in a conservative household, so I think a little bit different. But it's weird when you think about that. My brother's the complete opposite of me. He's like for everything. And it's funny how you get the same household and you get two different personalities.
Yeah.
Dude, What do you have coming up next after you got Jeter dropping? What's your next project 2020? And then what's after Project 2020? Because we're 2 months done and 2020 is over. We're in 2021. What's Blake Jamieson doing in 2021? How is he going to step it up? Because I feel like Project 2020 you kind of got to go up again, right?
I mean, ideally, you're always going up.
Right.
That's not always how it plays out. But
no.
Yeah. So within Project 2020, my next card is George Brett after my Derek Jeter, which is currently available on Topps. I'm excited for that one. I think it's going to be awesome. It's crazy because it kind of feels like the project that'll never end. And I think it feels that way for both artists and collectors. Collectors probably more for the pocketbooks, and artists more for like consistently having to put out more work, which is really like the dream, man. I have nothing to complain about there. But yeah, so I'm in talks with Topps about doing some upcoming projects in 2021. Nothing set in stone, and so unfortunately I can't really give any more details than the fact that we're talking about it. But I'm very excited and very optimistic that we are going to make it happen. We're at kind of these final stages where we're just kind of figuring out, final logistics of at least 2 more collaborations next year, which will be amazing.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I feel the same way, man. It's great. It's exciting. And I can't wait to get that buttoned up, because it's kind of like Topps Project 2020 changed my life, and it affected my business in ways that I would have never foreseen. And now that I see that potential, how attached I feel to doing more projects with Topps is irrationally, like I'm irrationally, like I'm very excited about it. And so once I get that dialed in and we have contracts signed, I think I'm going to have a lot less anxiety going into 2021 in terms of just, my future in the art and sports world. And I've been in the art and sports world before Topps. And even if those deals fell through for whatever reason, I've had plenty of things in my life that I thought were going to happen and thought were shoe-ins that didn't pan out. That's okay. If that happens, then I don't really know. Before Project 2020, I did a lot of work with athletes where I was doing a one-of-one painting for the athlete themselves, painted for a couple of Packers, which I think we talked about last.
Yeah, we did talk about last time.
Green, Kevin King, both great dudes.
Kelvin King is having a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's stepping into that role at University of Washington.
Yeah. He's awesome. And actually, it reminds me, I really got to follow up with some of the guys from last year. With working with athletes, I have kind of the relationship that they and I have is very different from player to player, just because some people are way more private and transactional to say, I'm hiring you to make a painting. I don't want to be your friend. Like, not that they're saying I don't want to be your friend, but that's kind of like the vibe I get, right? Of like, I'm hiring you for this. This is what I expect. And beyond that, like, don't expect anything else. And then there's other guys that are like legitimately, curious about what it's like to be an artist, or supportive of me, of doing something like that. So both Kevin and Raven were definitely on like the supportive and curious side. And so I owe those guys a follow up. But yeah, I mean, I hope my future involves Topps and involves some upcoming projects we've been discussing. And if it doesn't, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do something different.
Well, with like the Topps Project 2020 and how your popularity has blown up, has that helped with the commissions, or are you not doing commissions?
Yeah, no, it totally is. For the first time ever this year, I've actually had a waiting list for commissioned works.
I thought you'd always be on one.
Yeah, no, I never, and that's that's the thing of like the Topps effect of like these things. Some things happen to me that were completely beyond my wildest expectations and dreams, and I'm forever grateful for Topps for this opportunity and what that can kind of mean for future business for me. But yeah, I mean, I'm currently working through a waiting list of commissions, and I'm getting through them faster than they're being added to on the other side, but it continues to get I continue to have people, saying, hey, I've been following your work with Tops. Like, I would like to have this painting or whatever. So that's great. And we're kind of on track now where like, I think that commission pipeline will basically extend through the end of the year. So if everything paused right now and nothing else changed, I would be working on Tops till the end of the year. I would have a commission pipeline to keep me busy through the end of the year. And then 2021 is just going to be a big question mark adventure.
When do you sleep?
Typically from about 2 a.m. until 10 a.m.
Okay, so you still get your 8 hours in.
Yeah, a minimum of 7.
Okay.
I am very big on sleep. In fact, this is I'm not really like a jewelry guy. I don't wear like, necklaces, rings, bracelets. I have my Apple Watch, which is cool. Sometimes I hate it, but this ring is called an Oura ring, Oura, and it's a sleep tracker. And so I will like usually, and like Tony scheduled with you this, like I don't schedule anything for the mornings.
Okay.
And I don't set alarms. And so I don't ever know, like I don't have a bedtime where like I know I have to be in bed. I just like go to bed whenever I finish working that day. And then I sleep until I feel good. And with this sleep tracker, it tells me how many hours I was in bed, how many hours I actually slept, and then like deep sleep and REM sleep and so on.
That's cool.
So, like my routine is go to bed whenever I go to bed, wake up whenever I wake up. And the first thing I do is I check my phone and I look at the app for this ring and I look at my sleep, and it gives you like this score, and it's from theoretically 0 to 100, but I don't think you can get less than 50. But if I'm less than 70 on a sleep score, I'm like, okay, even if I don't feel tired, I'm like, I'm going to go back to bed because I need to get like restorative rest. That's important. And so, yeah, sleep is super important to me. And I think I sleep more than people I think realize. But
no, 100%.
I'm streaming late at night and people just assume like, oh, he gets up early, but I don't.
No, I totally thought you like got up at like 7 in the morning and just slept like 5 hours and just kept the grind going. But I'm the same way. With how my brain operates, and I'm the opposite. I'm schedule driven. So I'm in bed. The latest I'm in bed is 9 o'clock. I'll be asleep by like 10:30, but like if anything's scheduled, I won't schedule past 8 because I know the next day will be so much harder to function, or I won't be able to go to sleep because my brain, when I'm wired for a while. Like I don't have the ability to shut it down.
Right.
So like I used to take a sleep medicine, and that wasn't working too well because I was having really gnarly dreams, like going way too deep in my REM. And then now I was taking melatonin before, but the dreams were like my brain, like if I was a creative, I'm creative, but if I was like a writer, dude, I could write like the best movies ever. Like my dreams are like I can remember them forever. They're crazy. They're nutty though. Like if I told anybody about what I dream in, I'd be in the psych institution.
Dude, have you ever, sorry to go off on a tangent, but are you familiar with lucid dreaming?
Yeah, so I've learned how to lucid dream a little bit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I like study that. I've had some great lucid dreams that have been very productive for me as an artist, to the point where I'm like, yeah, if I could master this, it would be good for my career. And so I read books about lucid dreaming and like actively practice.
I had to work on it because my dreams would just lead me down a loophole that I didn't want to go down to. And it was stuff probably I needed to pull out anyways and just deal with. But now I'm like, oh, I'm not dealing with that. And I can reverse the dream or reroute it to where I need it to go. I'm even like at the point where I can go, oh, if something's going bad, I can go, you're dreaming. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, this is just a horror movie. I can get out of this. And that kind of thing. But then I wake up at 8:30, and then like I had like I'll be like really personal here. Like I go use the restroom, I shower, I cook breakfast. Like and like if any of that gets messed up, I always tell people when I explain like my disorder, why I put like in the autism thing, like I tell them it's kind of, there's a little bit of autism in there. Because if you mess with that, like don't fall. I'm like, why is this being messed with? Why do I can't why can't I eat breakfast? Like if I'm prepared for it, like if the next day I know that like I'm gonna have to cut something short, I can deal with that. But if something gets like adjusted wrong, that's why it took us a minute to get our conversation going. That's why we probably took 20 minutes to get going, because PlayStation not working, me messing up the schedule and times. I would say 5 months ago, I would have had to blow up and be like, I can't talk to you. I'd have been crying. Like my mom would probably have to come home because there'd be a scare of if I would be able to handle it mentally. And now like just work of talk therapy, right medication, and that kind of stuff. Like I realized the world's not ending. And that was always my issue since the brain disorder came on, that it feels like the anxiety of the world brings it on. And that's why I was like, we're going to talk some mental health today, because I think we see and I'm happy Dak Prescott brought it up. I mean, I'm so sad that even though he's a Cowboy, his ankle breaking, not enough people with these huge platforms talk about it. And if they do, I think they just do it for the attention, not to be genuine. I think how Dak went about it was perfect. I think he had somebody in his family who took their own life, and he's like, this is a real big issue that I wasn't dealing with, that I didn't know about. And I just think that the more you talk about it, the more people deal with it. By the way, Blake, what time do you have to be done?
No time.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't running into you.
No. Sorry, I got distracted for a second.
No, it's fine. I just looked at the clock. Like I don't want to like go on forever, and then like you go, oh shit, my day's all messed up because this kid wouldn't shut the hell up.
I'm fluid, man. I think just happy to be here.
Dude, I'm happy to have you.
Yeah.
Thanks. So where did the Honus Wagner idea come up with? Why did you go with that card to do those cool things? I mean, I told you on Twitter, you should have just done this beautiful face. I think I commented a few times about that.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, I think like, so before Project 2020, I had only done, I believe, 2 baseball players.
Okay.
I had done a portrait for Bud Norris, who I actually went to middle school with.
Oh, really?
Longtime pitcher, played on a handful of teams. And then I did Slade Heathcott, who played on the Yankees. And it was those were just kind of ones that Bud I had gone to school with, and so had that connection. But Slade connected me through Instagram. But in general, like I wasn't like heavy in the baseball scene or in the baseball card scene. And I hadn't collected cards since I was a kid. And so like when I got back into the hobby, I'm kind of like a person where if I do something, I'm all in. And so once I started doing the Topps thing, then I started collecting cards again. And then I started getting into like really collecting cards again. And like, if I look at now when I collect cards versus like, when I was 6, when you're 6, it's just like, okay, well, every Mark McGwire card that I have is like, that's the best card that exists.
Exactly.
Nothing else. Right. And now understanding the hobby and like just the iconic nature of that Honus Wagner card. And that really like was interesting to me. And I was like, okay, that could be fun. And then as an artist, we deal with a lot of copyright issues and trademark issues. And with something like T206 cards that has been over 100 years since they were released, they are public domain now. And so those images, which originally actually were paintings of photographs, have now been released into public domain. And so there was this interesting intersection of, okay, well, this is like arguably the most iconic baseball card of all time. And then like icing on the cake is nobody owns the copyright, where I could actually paint that, do my own version of it, and nobody can say anything about it because it's public domain.
I loved it. You pimped them out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a whole set of them here, and they're super fun. So we're calling that set like Honus Wagner, but yeah, I mean, it was just I started with one Honus Wagner, and people really responded well to it, and so I was like, okay, this T206 thing has some legs. So then I did like a Ty Cobb and a Cy Young, and people love that, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do like a bunch of them. And then also added on some Honus Wagners that were, rocking some sunglasses and a chain, or like with all kinds of different like silly things.
You have like the money sign on one of them. Yep. Yeah. What's your plan to do with that? Sorry, I cut you off.
No worries. So originally, I actually finished 12 paintings, and then I went to Topps because again, Topps had expressed interest, say, hey, we want to work with you in the future. And they said, we'll come to you with ideas, but if you have ideas, you can bring them to us. And so I came to them with 12 completed works saying, hey, this is my idea for kind of a B206, my own version on T206 that's remixed in like a fun new way. And if Topps, I would like to do prints of this or do something with it, but I first want to give Topps the opportunity to say, hey, if you like this art, we can work together on this. And I actually thought there's a time when it sounded like they were going to print those cards as like a series 7 of the T206 cards. They ran it up the flagpole, and ultimately the execs decided like, well, the people who like T206 are kind of the purists, and they're not necessarily overlapping with people that are pro Project 2020, remixing old cards. So they just didn't think it was the right fit, which I totally get and respect. And, I felt good giving them the opportunity to say, okay, this is not it. And so as soon as they said, we're not going to do this, then I told them, I said, okay, I'm going to do it myself. And they're like, okay, that's fine. And so I sell them as prints on my own website, blake.art, and I'm releasing 3 at a time. And I do it every like 2 or 3 weeks. I release another 3 of them.
So it's not Athlete's Portrait anymore?
No, I'm trying to consolidate, man. I had so many websites actually at one point. And I want to build my brand in a way where, like, right now in my career, being known for the guy that paints athletes is something that I want. But long term, I would like to be known for more than that. And I'm totally fine like diving in hardcore on the athletes right now and have that be almost everything that I do. That's totally fine with me. But I'm trying to build a platform that will extend beyond that. So whenever I decide, okay, well, athletes are cool, like I've also done a good amount of like celebrity portraits. Does that fit on athleteportraits.com? Not really. I have a bunch of abstract works that I'm a big fan of, and I do sell them. That doesn't fit on Athlete Portraits. So I wanted this like main hub. And so Blake.art has kind of been that place. And so I've slowly been shifting everything from Athlete Portraits over to Blake.art, just kind of as a long-term branding play.
Way easier to spell too.
Yeah.
Yeah, way simple. So I'm trying to think of how to put this question. Why do you think that Topps went, and I don't know if you can answer this, went with Ben Baller with the Topps Chrome instead of giving you kind of your own set? Like, you could have painted a bunch of cards and they went with that set and reprinted them and it would have still looked sick. I feel like his reach is
but those things aren't mutually exclusive.
Okay.
So Ben Baller did get his own set, and he got that deal done fast. Like I mentioned earlier, I have 2 different projects with Topps, which we're waiting on kind of some final contracts. One of those is kind of like that.
Okay.
It's different, but like it would be a project and a set that would be entirely my art.
All right. That's whoa.
Which would be fantastic. So yeah, I mean, the fact that like Ben Baller got that first one out of the gate, I think is great. I love Ben as a person, and I enjoy his art, and I think it's great. Like that was such a natural fit. And so with Topps, has this whole calendar and release schedule. Topps Chrome is like such a perfect like shoe-in fit for Ben Baller. It doesn't surprise me at all that they're like, okay, well, let's make this deal happen. Ben is also very established as an artist, multidisciplinary artist, where he's done music, he's done the chains, now he's done the cards. Like, he's got a whole team of agents that are pushing these type of things.
Okay.
And I don't have that, so I'm just directly negotiating with Topps, and part of that is like, I'm sure if I had an agent on my behalf that was like, yo, Topps, let's make this happen. Like, let's get these deals locked down. Let's get this signed. If you don't sign this now, Ben's not going to sign, or, or something like that. Right. Like, I'm not ever going to go to Topps and be like, hurry up, come on, let's go. I feel that way, but like, I'm representing myself as an artist. I'm like, hey, Topps, like, let's do something. And they're like, okay, great. Like, it just doesn't have that same urgency. So I think it's a combination of those 2 things where the Chrome just makes so much sense for what Ben's doing.
Right.
Having like some kind of parts of his team that I don't have in place now. But yeah, I mean, the goal is to have some products on Tops that are exclusive Tops Blake Jamieson products that aren't like group art, a group of artists. It's something that I'm doing.
Those will be sweet.
Fingers crossed. But I'm my own agent for this, so it'll play out however it plays out, man.
Because I'm dumb. What's the difference between a publicist and an agent?
So a publicist is trying to get press.
Okay.
So Tony helped me get the first article in Beckett that then got kind of repurposed and published into the cover story of Beckett. He helped get on ESPN.com and some other major publications. So in that sense, they're going to a media outlet and they're saying, hey, I have a client who is doing XYZ, and this is why it's a good story that you should write about. An agent is someone that is usually working with brands and saying, my client has this talent, and if you want to hire his talent, I will negotiate the contract. And for that, I will take a percentage of that payment, right, that the brand pays. Right. So that's kind of that's the distinction, I guess. Okay. They serve similar roles in that, like, they're an advocate for me, like for my art or my work, but they're just pitching it in different ways. Where, like, on one hand, you're saying, hey, you should write about this. This is a good story. And on the other hand, it's like, you should hire this guy. He could help your brand make money. And this is how much you should pay him for that service.
Got you. That makes a lot of sense, because I was always confused. I'm like, is it this? Abe and I were talking about it. He's like, I have no idea. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to ask Blake because he's the only person I know that has one. Well, then, Greg probably has one, but I don't know Greg's publicist.
Yeah. And then there's also like a manager who is really kind of would be a middleman between all those people. And a manager helps the artist manage their day-to-day life and workflow and relationships with people like a publicist or an agent. It's confusing, man. And it's
there's so much going on.
Too.
It's a different world that I'm putting my feet into and don't understand some of it. And thank you for explaining.
You're doing it all for yourself. You're your own publicist. You're your own agent. You're your own manager right now, and that's a great way to start.
Just hustle.
Just hustle.
And it's not to, and like you said before, it's not to be scared to hear no, and you have to ask. That is the one thing. Nothing's going to. I mean, I got really lucky with esports furniture. They came to me, but Dugout Mugs, like, I was very persistent with it. Like, I'm like trying not to be annoying. Store.com. Esportsfurniturestore.com.
Yeah.
Hashtag ESFFam. That's their hashtag.
I like that.
But they came to me luckily, and I was shocked because I'm like, maybe you saw like we have a good amount of followers on Twitter, but I was like, nobody watches me on Twitch really. Like, I'm like, but hey, I'll apply for your thing, and they approved it, and I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. And but Dugout Mugs, I had to be very persistent, very much like I built the relationship, and then they kind of brought it up, and then I waited every once in a while, I'd bring it up and then bring it up, and then I finally got the man himself, and I brought it up, and it worked. And I would say to anybody, hustling and grinding is the only way. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. Blake didn't become Blake Jamieson in February when Project 2020 was. It February or July? January.
So it was I guess like March. Yeah.
It all blends like into this weird, because then we had COVID, and this year's been so odd. I feel like we've been in March like this entire time. Like it just extended into when they shut it all down.
Plus.
But it doesn't happen overnight. The success doesn't just come. Blake's been doing this for 5 years, and I always have to remind myself that I'm not going to blow up and become John Boy Media. I mean, John Boy Media, he was doing this way before Savages in the Box happened, and you just have that one moment or a Tops Project 2020, and it happens.
Yep.
And then Blake, I feel like this is a good stopping point. But you weren't part of this. So now we ask 6 rapid fire questions, usually at the end, or usually sometimes I'll throw it within. All right, you ready?
100%.
What is your favorite food?
Sushi.
Sushi? Like, are you like, will you go like sashimi too?
Oh yeah, I love sashimi.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love sushi. It's so good, but I've
Yeah.
been staying away from the carbs.
There's a sushi place in Long Island City, if anyone's around, called Daihachi. Amazing. It's my favorite sushi in New York. I literally went there for lunch today. My favorite thing on the menu is a wasabi lobster hand roll. They're delicious. I mean,
Oh
it's all
man,
delicious, but that's
lobster. I love lobster. We don't get too much lobster out here. It's more of an East Coast thing. Well, we can. It's just expensive.
yeah.
Because out here we're like salmon rolls. That's my favorite. I'm a huge salmon fan.
I'm a big salmon guy as well.
What's question number 2? What's your favorite beverage? It used to be like beer, wine, or like liquor, but I got like 4 people in a row that don't drink. They're like myself.
Sure. I will go with LaCroix.
What is it? Oh, yeah, seltzer. Okay, you and your fancy stuff. I drink AHA from Target. Okay.
Okay.
Mine is kombucha or sweet tea. I'm a big kombucha fan.
Okay.
And I always tell people you have to hate yourself a little bit to drink kombucha.
Yeah, I like kombucha. I also like sugar-free Red Bull.
Oh, I wish I could have caffeine. I don't do caffeine well. Like Diet Coke's too much for me.
Yeah.
Like I can have a 12, like a little like normal like 12 ouncer, but if I get a large like McDonald's one, I'm like a 5-year-old running around the walls. Like don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
That's question 2. I had them written down, and then I lost that file. So, what is your favorite baseball ballpark that you've been to?
Man, I love AT&T Park in San Francisco.
It's what I have.
I called Pac Bell for so long, and I thought I would never, like when they switched the name, I thought I would never change and call it AT&T, but now I just call it AT&T Park.
The Mariners got me from Safeco. Now I say T-Mobile, but like the Moda Center in Portland, I still call it the Rose Garden. Like it will always be the Rose Garden. The Moda Center, that's weird to me. Like that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's like if the Yankees ever like sold their rights and it wasn't Yankee Stadium. Like, what are you gonna call it? Well, we already know this answer. It's Mark McGwire. It's usually who's your favorite baseball player? It's McGwire. What's your ideal ballpark food? If you're going to a Yankee game or you're going to any game or AT&T, what are you getting?
Garlic fries.
Seattle has some great garlic fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, come up here. We'll go to a game next summer.
Yeah, I think like honestly, I like the ballpark food is like one of my favorite things about going to ballparks. Like I look forward to that so much. And I remember like as a kid, it was like nachos and then a churro. And now, you know, especially like at San Francisco AT&T Park, like they have some pretty bougie food. You can get some nice like gourmet, like the hot dogs now and the hot dogs, you know, when I was a kid are very, very different.
Yes, they are.
But yeah, man, I love stadium food, and it's like a guilty pleasure. And like I already know, like if I'm going to a game, I have like $100 food budget because it's ridiculously expensive. And I'm like,
It is up here. Let's see if I can get it. Like that helmet right there is a nacho helmet from the Mariners, and they take barbecue nachos, but it's $18.
Yeah.
They do lobster. No, they do crab rolls in Seattle. It's like $30 for a crab roll. But I'd eat it. Like I'd pay for it. I never did. The one thing Safeco T-Mobile has sushi. They do a lot of Japanese food.
Nice.
It's Michiro. Like the bathrooms say like mins in English, and then they say min in Japanese. Like everything has like Japanese to it because of this. Seattle has a big Asian culture, but then you bring in, you know, Ichiro Suzuki, Yusei Kikuchi, Kenji Jojima. Like they're always pulling, you know, an NPB player. And then the last one, I judge everybody on this one. This is a big one to me, Blake. What is your favorite baseball movie?
Field of Dreams.
Oh, that's like my least favorite one. My favorite person speaks the one I hate the most.
Fine, Sandlot.
So, we've had 3 in a row with Sandlot. Hey, don't change it because of me. Mine's Bull Durham. I think Sandlot's a great movie. I think Bull Durham's the greatest baseball movie of all time. And anybody who says otherwise, you can get lost. I'm just kidding. But Blake, the floor is yours, man. Whatever you need to promote, you promote it, brother.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you again, Mitch, for having me on again. I love the fact that it's the second time. Like I said, that's like some of the most fun conversations are the second and third and fourth and fifth.
It's just relaxed. Like I had no plan. The first,
that's good.
Our first interview, like we were like so planned in and like drilled in with you and dialed in, and now we're like now. I mean, I still do that with everybody, not so much because I want to learn about them to like from their words, and I think I've learned that as I've gone on with interviewing. But now it's like the second time this is more fun because I'm like, I have no plan. I'm just going to talk to Blake like I'm talking to Blake normally.
That's good. That's the way it should be. And you're killing it, man. The new setup, like everything is, I'm so proud to see it.
Yeah, this setup happened like that. You told me to fix it. Like I literally got that check and I fixed it. I'm like, he said it. He's the man. I'm fixing it. Like I sit in a little different place every time because I never can remember exactly where it is. But I like everybody to be see a little bit. There's so much on this wall.
Exactly. You're giving a lot of I think it's awesome.
Yeah, but then I'm going to have to figure out the flag thing. I was thinking about putting like some of those LED strip lights, like, and then get like the color green because it has the big Packer flag.
Yeah.
And then so that kind of like pops a little bit different because I don't want to move that flag. That flag's been up there for like 10 years.
I love it, man. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. So if any fans want to connect, Twitter.com/Blake Jamieson is the easiest way to get a hold of me. I check all my DMs, reply to all tweets, hate mail or otherwise. And if people want to see me in action, I live stream on youtube.com/Blake Jamieson. We recently changed that. Now that's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We do mail Mondays. Normally we paint on Wednesdays, although tonight we're doing an interview with Gregory Siff, who has a top drop with me right now. And then Fridays are artist interviews. And my website's blake.art. And then I also recently launched cardart.com, where I'm doing some painting on existing baseball cards. And that's a fun project that we haven't talked about, but people can check out.
Right there. I mean, I have one from like, this is original card art. This is like OG. This is OG. This is card art before you got crazy.
Super OG card art.
Yeah. That's like, because I did the podcast review. When are those card arts coming out? I forgot to ask.
Those will be soon. And actually that reminds me, podcast, prettybignews.com is another good place to connect. We have a ton of great conversations with artists, with athletes, with authors.
It's so good.
So that's fantastic. So yeah, prettybignews.com on that. And for the review, Matt has actually been working tirelessly this week. I believe he just returned from UPS where he was dropping off stuff to send out to some patrons, as well as people who had like sent in reviews. And so send me a DM on Twitter and just remind me of that. And we will make sure that we're going to get you some either Green Bay or Seattle.
Blake, you've done enough today for me. Well, everybody, thank you for watching Just Mitchin. Remember, the link will be in the bio to get 10% off a dugout mug. These things are incredible. I mean, it feels like a real bat. I always use this for reference. My Mitch Haniger signed bat. I mean, it's the same size. The barrel's the same. Like, It's a real bat. It's a little weird to drink out of it, I will say. But when I was talking to Randall, he says only 40% of the people drink out of it. Yeah. And everybody else just collects it. I mean, they have ones where they're signed. They have other designs. I
want that rocks glass one you were talking about.
The shortstop one, I'll tell them. Yeah, they have the shortstop mug, which is brand new. I think they still have some of the Sugar Skull mugs that they did. They have wine glasses. They have knob shots. They took the baseball knob, hollowed it out, and turned it into a shot glass. Then they took the baseball bat knob and turned it into a beer opener. They're taking a baseball, cut it in half, and turned it into an opener. They have a T-shirt that I'm getting, I think, next week that has a beer bottle opener on the side, and then you can just crack your beer open.
It's amazing.
I know the stuff people come up with. It's amazing. But everybody, I'm going to get the hell out of here. Blake's going to get the hell out of here. And everybody have a great wonderful day. We'll see you later at Just Mitchin.